on innovation. Currently what people think is that manufacturers look at users and manufacturers go and develop the new process. But in fact, we have studied where innovations come from. And what we find is that it is users who are ahead of the trend. This is now a market trend, where a market over time begins small. I don't know how I can help you guys in terms of pointing at things. Maybe I'll stand way back. Yeah. So the market basically starts very small over here, and then grows. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And then it grows, and then the economists say, well, of course, here there are a lot of users, and what we will have is the manufacturers innovate. But over here, there are very few users, and it is these users at the leading edge who turn out to be the ones who develop the breakthrough products and services. So I'll quickly give you an example of this. It's a medical innovation, which would be of interest to the medical people here. This is the first heart-lung machine. The surgeon, this is occupation given here, and the surgeon was somebody who was operating on patients who were dying because he could not stop the heart and repair the damage. And so he went to manufacturers. He said, we need a heart-lung machine. The manufacturers responded by saying, well, have you developed the operations yet that the machine will use? And he said, no, I need a machine first. And they said, how do we know you can develop the operations? And he said, well, I'm a very good surgeon. And they said, well, when you have come up with a machine, we'll consider inventing the machine for you. So he's a surgeon now, not an engineer. He spent 20 years developing this, which is the first heart-lung machine. Then what happened was that the other users adopted it. Okay, so over here he was first. And then other heart surgeons adopted and copied this machine. And only then, as this time moves from left to right, only then did manufacturers begin to say, there seems to be a market for this. So the lesson behind this is that in fact, manufacturers do not understand or like small and uncertain markets. But every market starts being small and uncertain. So what we really have is a system in which user innovators, such as many of you, the person who developed a tractor because his field needed one like that, the person who developed a new operation because in use he needed that, that is the pattern. The problem we have now is that manufacturers don't understand the pattern, so they really are not innovating in a proper way. Now, I'm going to define a user innovation so that you know what I mean. And again, you can download this book for free from my MIT website if you would like to, and I will show you a video a little later. Videos also are just free on the MIT website. So, an innovation is a user innovation when the developer of that innovation expects to benefit from using it. It's a manufacturer innovation when the developer expects to benefit from selling it. This means this can be individuals or firms. When Boeing develops a new way to machine metal to make airplanes, is a user innovation. Boeing, when they make a new airplane, is a manufacturer. Okay? So it can be a company or it can be an individual. You as individuals use things, companies use things, and that's the distinction that we're making here. Now, I'll skip over this. We studied how innovations come about. How we understand where these innovations come from is through research, studying a lot of innovations. Now, user innovations, when you complete them, do not look, typically, like something that the manufacturer thinks of as a product. This is one of the reasons why manufacturers don't understand, basically, where innovations come from. So what we have over here is the first automated radioimmunoassay system. And it was developed by a doctor because he had to do a heart study with 20,000 patients. And there was no automated way to do it at the time. Now this is the commercial device. And when you ask the manufacturer what he thinks this is, he says it's not a product. There's no operating manual. There's not the corporate colors. It is not productized. But what they don't understand, really, is that this is inside this. And so really, what the user contributes is value in use and the basic invention. So the manufacturer can then do product development in order to make it robust. Okay? So now, skip again so we have time. The same thing you see in farming, and I visited some people making farm tractors, and that was really wonderful. And here's an example from another field of a farm innovation. This is center pivot irrigation. I don't know if you use it in this country, but these fields are about a mile or a kilometer and a half from side to side. And there's a well in the center of each field. And there's a giant sprinkler system that rotates around like this. And that's how you irrigate the field without having to put up pipes and pick them up and move them over and so on and so forth, or use canals as in India where you irrigate one section at a time. This is the first innovation by a farmer. And you can see that the farmer used what he had around. This is his old irrigation pipe. This is a tower that he built to hold the pipe off the ground. These are old tractor wheels. You can see them. And he invented this thing, and he has diverted water. It's quite sophisticated. He diverts water into this piston here, which drives the wheels. These wires here sense vents in the pipe, and so that they control now how frequently this pulsing motion operates. This is the commercial version. And you can see it is quite a bit cleaned up, but it is the same thing. But the manufacturer does not recognize it. So I called the manufacturer, and I said, well, did you get any input from users? He said, no. And I said, what? Did you get any input from users, living or dead? He said, no. And when you send us our plaque honoring us, be sure to spell our names right, he said. Now, there's nothing wrong in life from taking pleasure in credit, and there's enough credit to go around in life because everybody takes it, right? There's nothing wrong with that. The problem here is that since these manufacturers do not understand where their innovations come from, they can't find the next one. Okay? So now, the World Wide Web, again, a lead user innovation. Now, this is also true of consumer products, mountain bikes, and so on. All sports equipment, for example, is built by users. Many personal care things are built by users. Basically, since you mentioned the first sanitary pads, somebody here, who's the example you are? The first sanitary pads were actually made by women, nurses, in World War I, who had bandage material around, and therefore they invented these pads for themselves. And you then automate it, but again, if you trace it back, these are where they come from. Okay.